Hello everyone, here is your channel Learn with Moin. I am going to talk today about financial freedom and how to achieve it. But first of all, we have to learn from other millionaires what they did, and we have to follow their their path because success is like a recipe. You have to follow the ingredients and to follow the way they do it, and you will achieve the same result. I'm going to talk today about Robert Kiyosaki. He's a multimillionaire, and then I'm going to talk about his advice for you to be rich. Number one, who is Robert Kiyosaki? Robert Kiyosaki is the real estate investor. He is a multimillionaire. He has more than 7,200 properties, hotels, real estate, apartments, and all. The story begins when he was 7. He went to a school for rich kids, although he was a poor, because his house was near to the rich neighborhood. When he was 7, he once asked his teacher, "Why you don't teach us about money?" She said, "The rich are evil. You are here to I'm here to teach you how to work for money." He got upset and he went home and he asked his father. He is a PhD teacher about me. He said, "Why the school system teach us about money?" He said, "The government doesn't allow us to teach you about money. The rich are evil. The rich are evil. But if you want to learn about money, go to Mike's father." Mike was the best friend of Robert Kiyosaki. And he asked Mike's father. Mike was the best friend of Robert Kiyosaki. He asked him, and he went to study with Mike's father. His first lesson was, "Don't work for money. Let money work for you." Mike's father, as Robert called him, his rich dad, tell him to work for him on Saturdays for only 10 cents. Back to 1970s, 10 cents was also very cheap. They accepted because they want to learn. After several weeks of hard work, Robert Kiyosaki get very upset, and he went home to Mike's father, and he told him, I don't want to work for you anymore. You are evil. You don't give people money, and they work hard like slaves, and so on and so on." His rich dad replied that, "I wanted you to take a real lesson of life. Many people are working hard for tiny money, and they blame other people like me or the government." He continued, "Try to find ways to let money work for you." He accepted his word and he went back to work. Then one day, Robert Kiyosaki noticed that in the restaurant there is a small shelf full of magazines. Every Saturday, there is an employee from the company of the magazines take the magazines. Robert went to him and asked him to give him the magazines. The man told him that, "But you are not allowed to sell them." He accepted. Robert Kiyosaki found his first business idea. He kept gathering magazines to open a library in his basement. After school, all the school was reading magazines back in 1970s. The price of one magazine was 10 cents, and Mike opened the library for 3 hours. The kids were allowed to read from 8 to 9 magazines in 3 hours with only 10 cents. He allowed them to read as much as they can in those 3 hours. So nearly all the school went to his library. The business goes on. So they hired Mike's old sister as a librarian. The business was giving $12 a week. They gave Mike's old sister $2 and they shared the $10. But unfortunately, there was bullies from another neighborhood, and they came in and they destroyed the library. After that, Robert continued his education until he went to the war in Vietnam. After Robert begins his and he went to the war in Vietnam. After that, Robert began his second business, a business to sell wallets and sports shoes. His rich dad borrowed him $100,000. That was a very big money back in 80s or 70s. And he borrowed from the bank, from his friends. All the money was $1 million, above $1 million. He went to South Korea and he imported 1,000 wallets. It was a very bad experience for him. He couldn't sell one wallet. The business was going down, so what he did? He went to his marketing manager and he came up with a new idea. Back in 1970s, there was a culture of running. So he made an advertisement in a magazine. The story of the advertisement says that there is a man called X, let us call him Mike, was driving his car to the market. He drove his car to the bar, and he stopped his car and he left the keys of the car in the car. And he went to run around the park. When he came back, he didn't find his car. His car was stolen. So that's a very big problem. What's the solution? The solution is there is a shoes with a pocket, a sport shoes with a pocket for the keys. He can put his keys in his pocket, in his shoes pockets, and he could run, and he could get back and find his car. This idea went so popular, and the business was getting more and more visitors and buyers to buy his sports car and wallets, sports shoes and wallets and other things he delivered. After talking about Robert's life, let us dig deep in his business advice. Number 1, know the 6 words. But what is the 6 words? The 6 words are income, expense, assets, liabilities, cash flow. Income, expenses, assets, liabilities. He thinks that the problem of poor people and rich people, they don't know the difference between an asset and a liability. So let us define assets. Assets get money into your pocket. That's very simple. Assets get money into your pocket, and liabilities take money out of your pocket. This is a financial statement. The bank, if you want to borrow money, he asks you for your financial statement. Let us talk about this financial statement and what poor people do. Poor people do is there is an income here. Let us say $1,000 an income, and all goes to expenses. All the income goes to expenses. They earn $1,000 after months of hard work, and they spend it all. There is the job here. There is the income, and the expenses get out. Okay. What a middle class do? A middle class, after they get the paycheck, let us say of $10,000, what they do? And they say from income they went to the liabilities here. Liabilities like cars or anything that take money from pocket. I don't say that you don't have to buy a car or something like that. But a car is liability. If it broke down, if you have an accident, fuel, and many other things. If it gets broken, you have to pay money. Also your house, if you want to buy a new house or something like that, buying a new house will take money from your pocket. I'm talking about the house you want to live in. I'm not talking about the house you want to invest in. So liabilities like your cars, like your house, like your car or your house. Okay. Now Robert Kiyosaki have a very good rule with his wife Kim Kiyosaki. Is they decided that they wouldn't get to a new house. They will get to a new house after they buy 20 houses. First they will buy 20 houses, and then they will get to a little better house from I'm not talking about White House, but a little better house from now. Then after 500 property or real estate, they will get to a bigger house. What poor or middle class do? If they get money, they will move to a better house immediately. So that's the middle class, that's the poor. Let's talk about the rich. The rich, they go from income to assets directly. What are assets? By example, stocks are assets. Bonds are assets. Real estate are assets. Stocks, bonds, real estate, or a taxi car. These are all assets. They put money into your pocket. Stocks, bonds, real estate. Actually, Robert's first investment was they create cash flow. That's the last word, cash flow. Cash flow means the amount of money you get while you work or not. That's a passive income. The power of a passive income. Real estate, stocks. Actually, Kim's first investment was a little property with $18,000. It gets him only $25 per month. But by borrowing money from the bank and by going ahead, he moved to now 7,200 properties, more than uh, maybe 10 $12 million in passive income. He retired in 1996. He doesn't have to work because he has more than 7,200 properties. Okay, let us move to another advice. Don't pay taxes legally. We have to understand this card. You have here E here, you have S, you have B, you have I. E stands for employee, employee. S stands for self-employed. B stands for big business, a company which has more than 500 employees. I stands for investor. What the government wants you is to stay here as employee or self-employed because they want you to pay taxes. Self-employed and employees who work for a government, employees who work for a government or they work for a university or any other of that, they are self-employees. They pay taxes heavily. They are employees, only employees. They pay tax heavily. Self-employeed like attorneys, lawyers, accountants, or doctors who doesn't work in a hospital. They have the private medical care or something like that. They also pay taxes. But if you move here for big businesses, you pay taxes like 20%, more or less than this. Or you move to investors, you can not pay taxes. You can pay taxes legally, not illegally. Legally, if you take this advantage of investing in America, the real estate investors doesn't pay taxes. Why? Because the government can't provide taxes. Because of that, they don't pay taxes. Okay. In Sudan also, the stock investors doesn't pay taxes because the government wants you to invest in the stock market. Because they want you to invest in the stock market, if you read the taxes law for 1996 in Sudan, you will find that the government doesn't make you to pay taxes if you invest in the stock market. Also, investing in real estate. If you have real estate, say apartment, and you rent it, the government only have 1 month income from you. Let us move to the third advice. The third advice is use other people's money. His rich dad told him that only lazy people who use their own money. The rich people doesn't use their own money. They use other people's money. He says that the business, Robert Kiyosaki says that the business of Wallet and his company, he invested zero money. And also the Rich Dad company, there is a company called the Rich Dad, he invested zero money in it. And now it is a very successful company in America. So the one thing you have to do is to listen to my videos and to improve yourself in financial education every day. That's what you want if you want to be financially independent. Thank you very much for watching my video. Please subscribe my channel, press the notification button, and share all my videos. Thank you very much.